Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pure Crochets and today we are crocheting this beautiful maxi mesh skirt, and this is how the back looks. The front looks like this. And kindly subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I also love reading your comments, so see you guys at the comment section. This is the overall look of the skirt. It's a very easy tutorial. And so to work on this skirt, you will need acrylic yarn or any other type of yarn that you have. I used acrylic yarn. This is 50 grams yarn. You'll need a 4.5 mm hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors, tape measure, stitch markers, and a darning needle for this project. To begin, we are starting with the waistband and we are using the 4.5 mm hook, and we are going to chain 15 chains. First, begin by doing a slip knot, and that's how I do a slip knot, and then we will chain 15. Note that we are starting from the waistband going down. So 15 is the length of your waistband. If you want a longer waistband, kindly do more chains. If you want a shorter waistband, do less chains. But the size of my waistband is 15 chains, and I'm done with my chains. So chain 2 more chains, yarn over, skip the 2 chains, go to the 3rd chain and do a half double crochet. Okay, and this is how we do a half double crochet. Yarn over, go in the next stitch and do a half double crochet, and we are working half double crochets in all the stitches that you have. I will meet you at the end of your work. At the end, and this is how our row 1 looks like. To begin row 2, chain 2, 1 2, turn your work, and we are going to work half double crochets in the back loop only. So go in the back of your work like this and work half double crochets in the back loop only. Okay, and this is how we do the back loop only stitch. You go to the back of the stitch and just take 1 stitch from the back, okay, and finish it up by doing a half double crochet. So I will meet you at the end of this second row of half double crochets in the back loop only. We are done with the second row. On the 3rd row, you chain 2, turn your work, and we are doing half double crochets in the back loop only again. And this is the pattern we are going to do. Okay, you're going to work like this until your waistband perfectly fits your hips measurement. So as you work on your waistband, please stretch it a little bit. Do not overstretch your work, just stretch it a little bit until it fits your hips measurements. Okay, so once your waistband fits your hips measurements, that's when you stop. So I hope that is clear, and kindly do not stretch it so much, just give it a little stretch and then that's it. So this is the pattern for the waistband. We're going to work like this until it fits our hips measurements. Then I will meet you once we are done. Okay. I am done with my waistband, and this is how it looks. As we said, it stretches to your hips measurements. This is how long it goes, and it goes around my hips measurements when stretched. Okay, my hips measurement is 40 inches and this band stretches to my hips measurement. When I measure it, this is how far I went with it. It's 13.5 inches, but remember this stretches so much, so when I stretch it, it goes all the way to 21. Okay, so do not overstretch your work, just give it a little stretch. Okay, and once you have that, we are going to attach the waistband together like this. We are just still using the same hook. You can use a darning needle if it's hard for you to attach. So we are attaching our work together. Go to this other side just using your hook and join it together like this using a slip stitch. Then you chain one. Okay, once you've chained one, we are going to each stitch and we are doing single crochets across all the stitches that you have. Okay, just go inside each stitch. Please make sure your work is well aligned, and we are making single crochets all through the stitches. I will meet you at the end of this row. I am done. So at the end, you chain two and your work should look like this. Once you finish joining, should give a straight line. So once we chain two, you're going to flip your work to the right side. This is your right side. Okay, the top part is your right side, the top part of your skirt is the right side. So we are going to work now from the right side. So flip your work around, go back to the chains two that you just made right now like this, and we are going to start in the first row. To begin the first row, it's a row of double crochets. So yarn over, go in the next stitch and do a double crochet, go in the next stitch and do a double crochet, and we're just going to do a row of double crochets in each stitch all round the band, and I will meet you at the end of your work. Okay. I'm at the end of my row 1 of double crochets. At the end here, we are joining using a slip stitch on top of chain 2 like this. Okay, then you chain 2, turn your work, and we are beginning on the second row. Yarn over, go in the next stitch, and it's also a row of double crochets. Okay, we're just doing 3 double crochets, then we'll straighten up our work and put the stitch markers. Okay, so I just did 3 rows to know which direction I'm going to, and now it's time to put the stitch markers. So straighten your work, make sure it's in the middle. Okay, just measure it and make sure the middle part, which is where we joined, is in the middle, and we are going to put the stitch markers on the sides. So my skirt is 13 inches, so half of 13 is 6.5. I'll just make sure the middle part is on 6.5, and once that is right, I will put my stitch markers on the sides of my work. Okay, so take your stitch markers and put it at the edge on this double crochet stitch here, and then on the other double crochet stitch on the other side. Okay, we are putting stitch markers because we will do increases on both sides of our skirt. So once your stitch markers is on the sides, we are going to continue with double crochets until we get to our first stitch marker. Okay, so I am near my first stitch marker. I'll just finish up these couple rows of double crochets, and when I get to my stitch marker, I will do my first increase. Okay, so remove your stitch marker, and we are going to put there 2 double crochets. Okay, then put back your stitch marker. Remember, we are doing increases so that we hit our hips measurements. We don't want our skirt to be too tight, so remember our waistband was stretching to our hips measurements, and I don't want my skirt to stretch to my hips measurements. That's why we are doing increases on the stitch markers for our skirt to fit in perfectly from either the bottom or the top part. You can wear this skirt from the top part or the bottom part, which is the leg area or the neck area. Okay, that's why we are doing increases on the stitch markers. So I will meet you on the next stitch marker, so we do the next increase. For now, we are continuing with normal rows of double crochets. So I'm on the second stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker, and we are going to put 2 double crochets in that stitch. Please remember, after putting the 2 double crochets in the same stitch, return back your stitch marker. Okay, you always need your stitch marker on the same stitch. So put back your stitch marker like this. Then we are going to continue with the rows of double crochets until we go to the end of our work where we will join. Okay, I'm at the end of my work here, and please note we are joining on top of chain 2 using a slip stitch like this, and then you chain 2, turn your work, and we are beginning with a row of double crochets until we get to the stitch marker. Okay, so just do normal rows of double crochets. I will meet you at the stitch marker. Please note, in this row we will do something different at the stitch marker. I will meet you once we're at the stitch marker. At the stitch marker, and on this row we are not doing increases. Instead, we're just doing normal double crochet. So remove your stitch marker, go in that stitch and do a normal double crochet. Please always remember to put back your stitch marker. So after a normal row of double crochet, put back your stitch marker, and I will meet you at the next stitch markers. Remember, row 1 we did an increase. In this second row we are not doing any increases, it's just normal double crochets. I will meet you at the next stitch marker. Okay, so I'm almost in my next stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker, and remember I said earlier we are not doing any increases in this row of second row. So just go to the stitch like this with a normal double crochet, and then do a normal double crochet. Go to the next space, do a normal double crochet. Please remember to put back your stitch marker like that, then continue with normal double crochets. I will meet you at the end of your work. Okay, I'm at the end of my work, and please note at the end here we go on top of chain 2 and do a slip stitch. Okay, so that's how we do a slip stitch. To start the next stitch, chain 2, turn your work. We are doing a normal row of double crochets, and I will meet you at the stitch marker. In this row we are doing an increase at the stitch marker, so we'll put 2 double crochets at both stitch markers. Okay, I will meet you at our first stitch marker. I am at our first stitch marker, and as I said, we are doing an increase. Remove your stitch marker and go in the same stitch with 2 double crochets. That is my first double crochet. Go in the same space with the second double crochet. Take your stitch marker and put it back in position like that. Then continue with your rows of normal double crochets until you get to the other stitch marker. I will meet you there. I am at the next stitch marker, and remember we did an increase in the other one, so we have to do an increase on this one too. Remove your stitch marker and yarn over, go in that stitch with a double crochet and another double crochet in the same stitch, and place back your stitch marker always. Continue with normal rows of double crochets. I will meet you at the end of your work. So this is going to be the pattern. This row we have done an increase. The next row will be no increases at the stitch marker. The next row increase, the next row no increases. We are going to work like this until your hips measurements, until your work fits perfectly to your hips measurements. Okay, I hope we are clear on that. So work like this, alternating between increases or no increases until your work perfectly fits you at the hips area. At the end of our work, and always note we are joining our work using a slip stitch at the end like this, then you chain 2, turn your work, and this row is a row of non-increase. As I said earlier, we're just working normal double crochets. Once we get to the stitch marker, we will remove it, do 1 double crochet only, put back your stitch marker, then continue until you get to the next stitch marker. Okay, okay, I hope we are clear on that now. So continue working on your rows of double crochets. Kindly remember to do increases when it's needed and a row of non-increase. Okay, I will meet you once your work is done. That is the pattern. I'm going to work the same thing until my hips measurement hit 40. Okay, so I'll meet you once we are at our hips measurement, then we will continue with another pattern. I hope you are following up well. I will see you in a few. Okay, I continued working with my work and I worked up to 11 inches. That's how long my skirt has been, and mark you, my stitch markers are still on, meaning I've been repeating the same pattern. Okay, so you can see my stitch markers are still on and my skirt is widening up, is widening at the sides. So if we measure my work, and remember to stretch your work a little bit. Always stretch your work as you measure. Don't just stitch all the way to your hips. So this is my work, and if I stretch it, it stretches to my hips measurement. Do not overstretch so much, just give it a little stretch. My work was 15. If I stretch it a little bit, it stretches to 20. 20 times 2 is 40, and I said my hips measurements are 40. So I worked up to 15 inches, then gave it a stretch, and now it stretches to 20, and 20 by 2 is 40. That means it fits perfectly my hips measurements. Go ahead and remove your stitch markers. You no longer need them, okay? And from here, you are going to continue working a row of double crochets until where you want your skirt to reach. Once your skirt is at the perfect height where you want it to reach with the normal rows of double crochets, you will now start on the diamond mesh. And my skirt is now at 11. I'll probably reach 13 inches. So I'm just doing 2 rows of normal double crochets. No increases, no nothing, just normal double crochets until I get to 13 inches. Once I get to 13 inches, I will start working the diamond mesh. Okay. Okay, this is my work now. It goes all the way to 13 inches. That is the perfect length where I want the skirt to reach before I start doing the diamond mesh. Okay, if you want it longer, you can continue with normal rows of double crochets, but now this is perfect length for me. Let's start doing the mesh stitches. Okay, so to begin doing the mesh stitch, we will chain 3. Remember, this is where we have been joining. Chain 3, go in the same space where we did the chain 3 and put in a stitch which is a normal double crochet like that. Okay, and then chain 6. All right, so I'm chaining 6. Once you're done with 6, skip 1, 2. On the 3rd stitch, we are going to join there with a double crochet. Let's just my work slipped, I'm sorry, so let's begin. After the double crochet, do a double crochet in the same stitch with chain 3, then you chain 6, okay. Once you have your 6 stitches, yarn over, skip 1, 2. On the 3rd stitch, you are going to join there like this using a double crochet. Okay, and then go to the next stitch and do a double crochet like this. This is your first diamond mesh. Then chain 6 again, yarn over, skip 1, 2. On the 3rd, we are going to put a double crochet like this. Go in the next stitch and put another double crochet. Okay, then chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yarn over, skip 1, 2. On the 3rd, we join using a double crochet. Go to the next stitch and do a double crochet. Then you chain 6 again, and this is the pattern. We are going to work all around like this. I will meet you at the end of your work. Okay. Okay, I am at the end. I just chained 6. I have 2 stitches left at the end here, so go on top of chain 3 and join using a slip stitch like this. We are joining on top of chain 3 using a slip stitch like that, and then chain 1, go to the next stitch and put a slip stitch, and we are putting slip stitches until you get to the center of your work. Remember the first chain 6 we did, so we are putting slip stitches in the first 3 chains. After the first slip stitch which you join, you do slip stitches until you get to the center of your work. So this is my last slip stitch, and then I am done. Okay, your work should look like this. And now we are going to chain 3. Okay, chain 3 like that, yarn over, go in the same space of chain 3 and do a double crochet like this. Okay, after you've done a double crochet, now we are going to chain 6 and begin the pattern all over again. I hope this is clear. So once you've chained 6 like this, we are going to join in the middle of the first diamond like this using a double crochet. So see, I hope it doesn't run. Okay, yarn over, go in the middle of the first diamond like this and join using a double crochet, and then do another double crochet in the center there like that. Okay, then you chain 6, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, yarn over, go in the center here space, do a double crochet, yarn over, and do a second double crochet. Okay, then you chain 6, 1 2 3 4, I lost count. So we start 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, yarn over, go in the next chain in the middle there and do a double crochet and another double crochet, and that is the pattern. So you go again and chain 6, yarn over, go in the next middle space in the middle like this, do a double crochet and another double crochet. So this is the pattern. We're going to work like this. I will meet you at the end of this second row. I am done with my work and we are at the end here. Remember, at the end you chain 6 again, and we slip stitch it on top of chain 3. Remember the chain 3 that we always do. Slip stitch your work there like this. It's a bit hard, but you have to do it. Okay, please don't make tight stitches. On this stitch I made a tight stitch. So chain 1, go ahead and do a slip stitch in the next stitch, another slip stitch in the next stitch until you get to the center of your chain 6. Okay, this is the only difference. At the beginning is the only difference, and then the pattern continues normally. So the only difference is at the beginning. So we are doing slip stitches until the center, then we'll start with the pattern. This is my last stitch here. It's a bit hard. I forgot and did very tight stitches, so please don't make your work so tight like me, okay? So this is my last slip stitch. So you chain 3, 1 2 and 3, yarn over, do a double crochet in the same space as chain 3 like this. We are going in here and do a double crochet, and then now you chain 6, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, yarn over, go to the next space in the middle of the diamond mesh and do a double crochet, yarn over, do a second double crochet. After second double crochet, of course, you chain 6, so the pattern is now back. You chain 6, one 2 3 4 5 and 6, yarn over, go in the next space in the middle and put a double crochet, and another double crochet, and then you chain 6. So this is the pattern, and you're going to work like this until your skirt reaches to your feet area, or whatever length you want your skirt to reach. So I like it long, so that's why I did a long skirt, because this is a beach skirt, so I just found long to be really nice. But this is literally the pattern. I will meet you once your skirt is long enough. I hope you understood how we start the mesh, and how we end the mesh, but I will show you one more time. We are at the end now. We have chained 6, join it on top of chain 3 with a slip stitch like this, and then chain 1, go in the next space and do a slip stitch, and we are doing slip stitches until the middle of the first chain, which is just chain 3. We are doing slip stitches and up to the 3rd chain, then we begin the next row. Okay, this is my last slip stitch, then we will chain 3. So chain, okay, I went ahead and did the last one. It was not in the center yet, so chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, then yarn over, do a double crochet in the same space as chain 3, and now we begin on the pattern again. Okay, it's quite simple. So now we chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we go in the next center mesh like this and join using a double crochet, yarn over and do a second double crochet, and then we chain 6 again, and the pattern continues round and round and round. Okay, so I'll meet you guys once you are done with your skirt, and then I will show you how we do the ribbing below our skirt. Before we get to the ribbing, I decided to change my hook from 4.5 to a 5.5 because I want my skirt not to be too fitting at the bottom. So I switched my hook from this 4.5 to 5.5. If you want your skirt to remain the same, please continue with the same stitch. If you want your skirt to be tight on the legs, you can go a hook smaller, so 3.5. But I want mine to be floral, so I went with not floral, flare, so I went with the 5.5. And this is how long I've gone with my work. And now I want to do the ribbing at the end here. And to do the ribbing, just go in the next stitches with a row of single crochets and double crochets. So once you finish your last diamond chain, don't cut off your yarn, just go in with a single crochet in the next stitch like this, then yarn over and do 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, go in the next space. Your work should look like this. So it's a combination of 1 single crochet and double crochets. Go in the next space like this and do a single crochet, yarn over and do double crochets, 2 double crochets, so 1 double crochet and another double crochet. So that is the pattern. You're just combining 1 single crochet and 2 double crochets. When the chain is too long, you can do 1 single crochet and 3 double crochets. Okay, that is the pattern below here, and that's it for the ribbing. Okay, once you're done with your yarn work, cut off your yarn, chain 1, you cut off your yarn, and we will stitch this yarn in. Okay, so we are done with the ribbing, and this is how the work looks at the bottom here. It's so pretty. I like it so much. It's a beautiful stitch. So I'm going to tuck in that yarn, and this is how my skirt looks. It's quite beautiful. And go at the top here, and you can put waistband. I went ahead and just put a waistband on top here if you need it, but you don't need it. I just wanted my skirt to be really tight at the top. I chained 300 and put it back. Okay, and that is how we work on this beautiful skirt, and that is how the waist looks. I went ahead and put little shells just to make the skirt look more beautiful, and that's the waistline of the skirt. Thank you so much for watching. I'll meet you in the next video. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I love you all so much. Thank you for the massive support. Continue subscribing, continue watching. More nice content coming up soon. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.